Thanks for joining us today. This is good. Today we're going to be having a conversation about this demystifying DCAA compliance and unlocking the secrets of government contracting success. My name is Joe Alston. I'm the VP of Sales here at Daston. And today I have Kevin Birns with me. Kevin Birns is part of our NetSuite practice as well as a CPA. He's been working in the DCAA space for close to 12 years. Has worked with several of the ERP systems, including Deltek, Jamis, UnionNet, as well as NetSuite. And so, like I said, today we're going to be talking about DCAA compliance and giving you a better understanding of what it is and why it's important. Before we go too far into that, I want to tell you a little bit about us. We are a NetSuite partner of choice for over 25 years when it comes to DCAA compliance. We are also a government contractor here at Daston. Our team is a team of subject matter experts in the federal acquisition, as well as cost accounting standards. We are also a BPO and certified NetSuite development partner. We've been working with NetSuite on DCAA compliance for over 9 years, and we are their number one way that organizations become DCAA compliant within the NetSuite instance. We have hundreds of clients, different companies that use us for DCAA compliance, as well as tens of thousands of users who use us for various purposes throughout every day. And as I said, we're the number one way. So let's get to it. Kevin, we're going to talk a little bit about what it means to be DCAA compliant today. So I guess the big question to you is, what is it? What is DCAA compliance and why is it important?
So, Joe, that's a great question. We get asked that a lot. Basically, DCAA compliance means that a company adheres to the guidelines set by DCAA, so the Defense Contracting Audit Agency, and it ensures that they're compliant with federal laws and prepare for audits. It's basically a set of rules that are set forth from larger areas, such as the cost accounting standards, CAS, the generally accepted government accounting standards, GAAS, and the federal acquisition regulations, FAR. DCAA compliance makes it clear that a contractor adheres to these business practices and has the proper procedures and policies documented and in place and ensure that they're actually working. And failure to meet these guidelines and audits can be met with harsh penalties, from fines to refunding revenue to even being blacklisted from government contracting work. Not to mention, if you are found guilty of fraud, you could actually face jail time. And it's because these contractors are receiving funding from taxpayers, DCAA wants to make sure that that money is not being wasted. One major misconception, though, is that DCAA certifies companies and contractors that are compliant. And that's not true or accurate. The same goes for an accounting system. There's no such thing as a compliant DCAA accounting system. They might be preferred accounting systems, but just because you have a DCAA preferred accounting system doesn't always ensure compliance. It's how you follow those best practices and procedures in the system to make sure that you meet compliance.
Wow. Well, Kevin, there's a lot to that. I know that, blacklisting your company is one thing, that's bad enough, but, you going to jail personally over not being compliant, that, I'm pretty sure that's daunting to a lot of people. What are some of the key requirements and regulations for government contractors to know about when looking at DCAA compliance?
So some of the major pieces are that government contractors, they need to track those labor costs and expenses. And it's not just tracking, it's tracking it between different billable customers, but also be able to differentiate between that direct and those internal resources and expenditures. They need to also track the allowability of those costs and separate out those unallowable expenses from allowable expenses. One of the big challenges, though, is DCAA compliance with timesheets. So at the end of the business day, the employee most likely knows what they did for that day. And so we want to make sure that the employee enters their time accurately for that day. And so if they don't or they miss it, then they receive a daily floor check saying that they missed time entered for the previous day. And then they can make sure that that time is entered. DCAA wants to make sure that you're charging accurately your work so that if you do make those changes, you happen to make a change in a previous day, that there's an audit trail of those changes, and that you enter in a change, or you enter an explanation of why you made those changes. One major piece is that employees can't charge in the future because DCAA isn't interested in what you think you might do tomorrow. It cares about what you actually did. And so we want to make sure that you can't charge time into the future. One exemption could be if you want to take tomorrow off, you can enter the PTO for that. And finally, that you submit your time and that you certify that your time is accurate and your supervisor then approves that specific time sheet.
All right, great. Go ahead, Kevin.
I was just going to add a few other just quick things, is that some key other requirements are the ability to meet CAS requirements if that's required based on your revenue levels, your preparation of incurred costs and provisional rates for your cost plus projects, your ability to dilute your timesheets to create that effective labor rate calculation. And if you're lucky, you need to prepare those incurred cost submissions if you have those reimbursable contracts.
Oh man, that seems like a lot. Let me ask, what are some of the typical challenges faced by government contractors in maintaining this compliance?
So the two major ones that I kind of just touched upon are those timesheets and those unallowable expenses. So unallowable expenses, that expense split is simple. So things like marketing or alcohol, they're actually unallowable expenses, so they can't be reimbursed from the government. And timesheets are a difficult transition, especially if employees are not used to entering time prior. It's a big challenge, and we want to make sure that they understand that. So that we want to make sure that there's floor checks if they miss the time, and make sure that all time is entered as soon as they're done with their day. DCAA is known to conduct surprise floor checks. So that's actually where they show up at a contractor's office unannounced and ask to see all the timesheets to make sure that everyone is meeting those policies, procedures, and controls laid out for the regulations. And failure to pass these floor checks can result in red flags from DCAA.
We've talked about, some of the challenges. What are some of the benefits of achieving DCAA compliance?
So, the major ones is revenue. So these contracts are very lucrative. They are multi-year. They're consistent revenue, and it constantly has increasing revenue as you build your business in the government contracting world. Your expansion of your network of your partner companies to be able to move and work on these contracts, and your increase in actual commercial business from non-government related work with these network connections.
All right. And you've been working, at Daston and working in the ERP systems for quite a while. How does Daston Suite app address the DCAA compliance?
So Daston is built with NetSuite on NetSuite. And NetSuite is a robust ERP system. It provides advanced accounting modules and real-time dashboards to facilitate effective timekeeping and project management. Daston's DCAA On-Demand Suite app enhances those NetSuite capabilities, enabling seamless adherence to DCAA guidance, and in addition to have a set of reporting capabilities for project management. Daston extends and enhances those NetSuite capabilities.
And why is NetSuite a good choice for what you're looking for in a government as a government contractor?
So let's be real. Most government contractors are probably not 100% government-based revenue. If you are, then that's great, but not everyone is. And so you need a system that can handle both sides of your business. NetSuite allows for that expansion of your current system with the robust capabilities and the flexible user interface. NetSuite and Daston allows you to manage both your government and your commercial arms of your business with segmentation to break out those financials between those different groups, and all the way from the subsidiary level down to the segmentation level to split out your business.
Yeah. Can you list out some of the key components for DCAA compliance in NetSuite?
So the project management and contract tracking, as mentioned earlier, between different billable customers, but between direct and internal resources. In addition, they need to track that allowability. By utilizing project-based accounting, it provides that additional dimension to combine with your chart of accounts to keep track of all those different types of expenses. So NetSuite offers that robust project accounting feature that allows contractors to effectively manage multiple projects, allocate resources, track budgets, generate reports, And with DCA on Demand, it enhances all these functionalities to slice and dice those financials, those project transactions, to not just track the costs, but then allocate those indirect rates into allocations and have proper rates for those cost pool allocations.
Hey, let me ask, can you give a brief overview of how Daston implements the Suite app?
So a few other things I want to mention. The timekeeping and labor tracking. NetSuite has extensive time and tracking and capabilities that allow for real-time reporting and daily time tracking. Daston Suite App adds that next level of timesheet compliance requirements such as daily floor checks, restriction of charging to the future, keeping audit trails of those changes, and requiring employees to certify and submit that time. In addition, on the labor side, DCA on Demand allows for effective labor rate dilution calculations to provide for job costing. Also, the reporting capabilities. NetSuite's reporting allows you to slice and dice that data any which way to create that custom record and fields with just a few clicks to track and report on them. There's no need for extensibility or custom coding. Daston Suite App extends already that extensive reporting capabilities and audit trail capabilities by utilizing project-based accounting as well as GL-based transactions, so that you can see not just your transactions by a GL statement or GL line, but you can see it down to that project level. NetSuite and Daston provide real-time dashboards, reporting capabilities to monitor all the aspects of your company, and that real-time insight can help you identify potential issues, take corrective actions, and ensure continued compliance with government guidelines. And whether it's the backlog reporting with your option year tracking, your employee level wrap rates or profitability, your estimated completion tracking, Daston's DCAA Suite App can meet all those needs. In addition, Daston has a fully built out incurred cost submission report with all those required schedules that can be run real time and on demand. And these schedules mirror the DCA's ICE model and can be exported to Excel with ease. We like to say that we can prepare your incurred cost submission in minutes instead of weeks.
Oh man, that's really impressive. So let me ask, can you give me an overview of how Daston implements the Suite app?
Of course. What we like to do is create a well-defined project plan, which is essential for successful compliance and successful timekeeping implementation. Our team of experts will work with you to develop a project plan that identifies tasks, durations, dependencies, milestones, critical paths, gates, and resource assignments. By developing this project plan, we ensure a structured approach to timekeeping, which will help ensure DCAA compliance throughout the project lifecycle. What we do for our customization, though, and to configure to everyone, because everyone's unique and every company is unique, when we install DCAA Suite App, we configure NetSuite to meet DCAA compliant requirements that are built in with those compliant features for timekeeping, project setup, cost allocation, indirect rates, calculations, audit, indirect rate calculations, and automated audit trails.
Yeah, and well, what does training look like?
So our training, we want to make sure that we offer extensive training program for all the stakeholders in the Suite App. So that covers projects, indirect rate calculations, timekeeping, labor distribution. And it's crucial to educate those employees on DCAA timekeeping guidelines for compliance. Daston provides comprehensive training on NetSuite and DCAA on Demand Suite functionality, emphasizing accurate timekeeping and consequences of non-compliance. Ongoing coaching, though, and support addresses those challenges and reinforces the best practices.
All right, great. And how do clients stay compliant?
So once the implementation phase is done, Daston offers system tuning and audit support to ensure continued compliance. Regularly reviewing and optimizing your NetSuite instance to align with any updates or changes to DCAA guidelines is what we always like to do, and it happens at least twice a year where we push out updates along with NetSuite schedule. Daston's expertise can provide invaluable support in the case of an audit, and we can help you navigate the process and ensure compliance with regulatory requirements.
All right, great. We've been talking a lot about, DCA compliance, regulations, and all of that. Let's talk about, a real world experience. Can you tell me a little bit about a client of yours, MCNC? That's a mouthful.
So MCNC is a great example of a successful implementation of our suite app. So a little background, MCNC is our client that owns and operates the North Carolina Research and Education Network. They provide high performance services for institutions ranging from education to research and healthcare and others. What they do is they provide middle mile fiber networks to provide customized internet services for each client. So a challenge that we had and a challenge that they were facing is that they were previously using Delta Cost Point, but they found the system lacking in important features to run their accounting efforts efficiently. So two examples are the ability to do global searches that they were very happy for. You can search on all records in the system, and the ability to save PDFs and Excel documents directly within the system. They also needed a system that can easily slice and dice their data with ease. So with their infrastructure, they have access to 850 different institutions that they're running, and they couldn't just simply use a fringe and overhead and G&A rate for their pool structure and some service centers. They needed to break it down further, such as headcount for customers, fiber allocations based on usage for those hundreds of customers, which were constantly fluctuating each month. So what we came up with is, once we implemented, we built out a cost per waterfall that encompasses not just the calculation of those different unique allocations, but the ability to post them directly to the GL in addition to the project. That was crucial for their organization. And then they were able to view and export that data both in the general ledger and the project status reports. Since a lot of their allocations, though, were manual calculations, such as headcount and fiber usage, they were able to upload all their pool units with ease, their pool-based units with ease, instead of just piecemeal. And it saved a significant amount of time during that tight month-end close. In addition, the real-time data entry and reporting capabilities allowed for an instant updating of reports and provide critical analysis right away. So MCNC was overly satisfied with Daston's Suite App's DCAA compliant features in conjunction with NetSuite's already robust capabilities.
Oh, wow. Hey, thanks. That is, it's really good to see someone, especially, like MCNC, who had these needs that we could, easily fill them, work with them, and that they're happy with us. I'm glad to see that Angie and her team, are not, like I said, references moving forward. So let me, thank you for your time today, Kevin. And thanks everyone who attended the webinar. We're going to take some questions and answers, and see if we can get some answers for you. And I think that's it.